Hello, Section 31 here. I just got back from DEFCON, which is probably one of the most well-known hacking conventions in Las Vegas. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about the badges that I got while there, just to give you a quick idea of what the whole concept of badges are. Typically when you go to a conference, you register and you receive a badge, and it's like a paper badge that identifies that you're an attendee for, whatever convention you're attending. DEFCON became known for these electronic badges with various levels of intricacies in them, oftentimes with blinking LEDs, speakers, and other features. More recently, we started to see little challenges in them, wireless capabilities, and a lot of different other really interesting features that you wouldn't expect to see in a normal badge, but the hacker community really has come around to leverage in their conventions. So I'm really excited to look at the badges here today. I first was introduced to badge life when I was going to DEFCON my first year in maybe like 5 years ago or so, and a friend of mine introduced me to it, and ever since then I've been super excited. Unfortunately, COVID happened and I wasn't able to go for a pretty long time, and then until this year where I went and then immediately jumped right back into the whole badge life collection and exploration of that subculture. So this here is the DEFCON 32 badge. As you can see, it's like a cat, 2 eyes, ears, and a nice big screen here on the front. So as this loads up, I'll go quickly and talk about some of the features here. So this Raspberry Pi is inside this badge, which is a RP2350A. It has a RISC-V architecture. It also has a touchscreen, which I didn't realize initially that this was also a touchscreen. Maybe the game doesn't take advantage of that, I'm not quite sure yet. There's also some IR communication features. There's some IR up here. We'll talk about some of the LEDs that are also embedded in here. There's a beeper, several buttons. We have a D-pad, A, B, start, select, and on the back we got 2 additional, like a start menu, power button. Back on the front, we also have an SAO port here for different add-ons, which I'll talk about in a bit. But real quick, we'll go through the game here. You can change the LED colors in the game, which affect the badge itself. You can change individual sections, or you can change the entire thing, which is what I'm going to do here for this example. I'll go ahead and select magenta. So here we go, we have the front 2 eyes, and then on the back, 4 additional LEDs that could be adjusted to whatever color you want to change them to. A cool feature for this badge, and some of the other ones I'll talk about today, we do have a USB-C port for charging. Really awesome, really appreciate that is in here. Before I show the add-on, I wanted to mention some of the people that worked on it, and apologies if I didn't get everyone. The hardware and aspects around that design are thanks to Entropic Engineering. We have Rachel, MP, Neutron, GRM. The firmware was written by Dimitri GR. Manufacturing and some component sourcing and other aspects related to that from ICSN in Vietnam. And then last but not least, we have the initial concept, artwork, overall case design, and the game itself by the badge team over at DEFCON. So I'm glad that all these different teams were able to work together to put this together and bring us a badge for this year's DEFCON. Next, I'm going to talk about the SAO here, this one that I purchased from Make It Hackin. This is the Tricorder SAO that can be plugged into any badge that supports the SAO standard. It stands for shitty add-on. So Most of these SAOs have LEDs, they blink, do cool things, and some of them are addressable. You can change the patterns the LEDs are running through or change the colors. In this case, we have, once plugged in, the tricorder starts operating and we get a bunch of blinky lights, many of them operating in a couple different patterns. We have here the vertical green and red, this one on the left side dropping down vertical green, and then a graph view here in red blinking lights. Each of the buttons that you would see on the TNG tricorder show up here in a nice copper or gold finish. And then if we turn this over on the front side, we get the LEDs blinking outwards from each other, which is a very Star Trek TNG Next Generation design motif, I feel, for many light patterns. On the back, we also have 2 additional blue LEDs and 2 red ones here on the side. Blue light here, and then a couple red lights there on the other side. So pretty nice design for an add-on. Doesn't do much, unfortunately. It does not scan for life forms, which is probably one of my most favorite activities, but unfortunately this tricorder does not happen to be fully functional. The next badge I would like to talk about is Ironwood Cyber's Crest badge. This badge is made by Ironwood Cyber and features the Legend of Zelda's crest. You have the Triforce up on top and the wing crest going around it here. How do you get this badge? In this case, Ironwood dropped several different challenges, one before DEFCON and then 2 during DEFCON. The first pre-con CTF, I got together with a bunch of people and we worked on a bunch of different challenges together to try to be the top 20 and win one of these badges. Fortunately, we were not able to get enough challenges completed to win, but we did have a pretty good time and enjoyed the challenges provided by Ironwood Cyber. The second CTF, which was the first one at DEFCON, happened at Resort Worlds. This CTF started at 11 p.m. and we basically worked till 1:30 a.m. and then the top 25 players were able to win a badge. And then the next 15 players who participated and were present joined a raffle for the next 15 badges. This CTF in particular was pretty cool. Ironwood Cyber had us go around and look at different pieces of artwork in the area, and several of them were used as part of the challenges in their CTF. And it was really an awesome feeling to just walk in there and then see all these players congregate together, pull out their laptops and start trying to solve these challenges. By the completion of this first CTF at DEFCON, I ended up in 25th place, and thus I was able to just narrowly win one of the badges. And that is the badge we have here today. Some of the features that I want to just point out for this badge, it's pretty cool. So you already see the blinking LEDs, and that's great. On the back, we have the battery pack. Wow, USB-C charging again, awesome. And the power switch. If you notice on the edge of here, there are some metallic control surfaces, as well as hidden messages encoded in a variety of formats. We have Morse, we have possibly hex. This one was, I think, probably like a ROT13 or some sort of shift cipher. So that being said, you can take, if you solve some of these, they're related to the badge CTF that continues once you have one of these badges. There's also a companion app that goes along with the badge that you can download on Google Play Store or iOS Store as well, and continue extra challenges there. I have not yet had a chance to explore it myself. But in the meantime, I wanted to show some other features that this badge has. If you touch the bottom here, it'll vibrate and activate touch controls. Press these two and you activate the synthesizer mode. So then we can now play some music. If I do it fast enough. So activate, synthesizer. And that was Saria's song. So there's several different songs you can play from Ocarina of Time, and the synthesizer, once it recognizes the pattern, will play the rest of it for you. So yeah, pretty cool badge, a lot of different features in it. Ironwood Cyber has made several other ones. There's a Tron badge as well as an Iron Man Arc Reactor badge, neither of which I have, but they do look really cool. The Hack Boy. The moment I found out what this badge was, I knew I had to get one. This one was made by Ann Not XOR, and to get this one, you had to compete in a CTF at DEFCON, and you had to do it before supplies ran out, which, I mean, I guess that's the case for all of these because there's always a limited supply. But the format of this was a vending machine that contained several of these in a bag, in their own bags, and you would go up to the vending machine to get the challenge code in order to enter the CTF, and then from there you would compete against other players to complete as many of the challenges as you can. You need to get 5 in order to get a code in order to get the vending machine to spit out one of these guys. And there was a variety of challenges. They were pretty challenging. And some of them had you go back to the vending machine several times in order to input a code, receive another clue. You go back, solve it, come back, and enter the next code, and it leads you on through a different set of challenges. But the most unique thing about this is that it's actually running a version of Doom on this Game Boy Color shell. So inside is yet another Raspberry Pi, and you might not be able to see the screen on the camera here, but I am operating Doom as if we're back in time. And let's see, on the side here, because the original components have been removed, there's no volume dial. There's a USB-C connector here on the left side. I imagine the IR is not connected, but I can't tell right now. There's a power button. There's a QR code here on the back for the manual. Much lighter than a normal Game Boy because a lot of the internal components that were originally in here are missing. But you know, it runs Doom. It's pretty freaking cool. One of the other challenges that came alongside the Snacky Challenge was a side quest where you start out with a red, what looks like a Pokemon cartridge, but is not. Inside contains a QR code which leads you on to another series of challenges. As you beat all the quote-unquote gym leaders, you get a different cartridge, yellow, green, and blue. And when you complete those, you win a prize. I did not, unfortunately, have the time to go through that challenge, but I did really enjoy the main Snacky Challenge, and I'm so excited that I was able to get this. It took me 2 days. The second day, I finally had all 5 answers after solving 2 of them on my own, and then I ran down the next day at opening to get in line for this. There was a huge line. Everyone was waiting to use Snacky, and 45 minutes into the line, even though there was only maybe 20 people in front of me, it took about that long as people were entering codes. Some of them were vending their own hack boys, others were continuing their challenges. But about 45 minutes in, the Wi-Fi cuts out for DEFCON and Snacky loses access to the internet and is no longer able to verify codes. And so the line was stuck. And that left us waiting several more minutes, maybe 15, 20 more minutes, and then the line started moving again. And finally it got to my turn. I was able to enter my code. It said, section 31, you solved it. And then it outspit one of these guys, and I was so excited to walk away with it because this was not an easy challenge. Took many hours, but it's a fun piece of gaming history to have a Game Boy Color shell and have it run Doom on the inside. Wow, the Lockheed Martin Dark Star. This badge was made by the Lockheed Martin Aeronautics Cyber Range, or ACR, and this is their Dark Star badge. And that's the moment I saw it, I knew I had to get one. Did not know initially how I would get it. I wasn't aware of what the challenges were, but found them in the aerospace village over at DEFCON and proceeded to battle many other attendees through a variety of challenges and failing many, many times before I finally was able to land one of my own. They did a lot of pretty cool CTFs, or single challenges. They were only handing out typically 10 badges at a time. Some of them were social. You would need to show up at a particular location in order to get one of these before everyone else got here. Others you would have to solve a particular challenge and then provide them the answer, and then you would receive one of these badges. One that I tried doing which was particularly annoyingly challenging, was the geolocation one, where we were presented a picture of a hangar and had to figure out where exactly it was. Unfortunately, the letters that I read led me in one direction when I should have read the letters a different way. And so I was on a wild goose chase in Canada and Australia when I really should have focused my time in the US, where this ultimately ended up being. Another fun challenge that appeared and I did not win. It came very close though. We were given a 0-star review, and from that 1-star review of a book, and we were told to go find the title of the book. It was a cybersecurity related book. I used ChatGPT to scan the image that they provided, and I found the answer. Typically these challenges were being answered via Discord, but I didn't realize this one in particular was just needed to be shouted in person. So by the time I realized that, someone else had shouted the answer and I lost. The final challenge that I stayed around for ended up being a social media raffle. You thank them for being allowed, thank the ACR team for being allowed to be at the Aeronautics Aerospace Village and show that you've posted on social media, then you get entered into a raffle. I ended up being one of 5 lucky winners and now have my very own Dark Star. What's pretty cool about this one is that there's a control panel on front, so you can control the screen here on the right. You can go in and change some modes, disable the sound and stuff like that. It comes with the RF transmitter on the front here to shoot other badges, other Dark Star badges, and then there are receivers as well to identify that you've been hit. There are the obvious LEDs circling around, which are customizable. You can change the colors of those. There's a buzzer that makes sound. Once again, we have a USB-C connection here on the side to charge the battery pack, and I have to say, out of all the badges, this is the most Integrated and clean design for holding the battery. Very well done. Like it a lot. What else? That's pretty much it. This badge allows you to record kills and deaths when battling other players, although most of us did not have time to actually take advantage of that. It can connect to Wi-Fi and upload results to the scoreboard that is hosted on the web. So yeah, thank you ACR team. Thank you Aerospace Village for bringing this along. Really nice design, and I'm glad to have won it. I'm glad that it has entered the collection. And that about wraps it up for the DEFCON 32 badge life experience that I had this year. I'm just going to give you some beauty shots of the badges, and hopefully I'll see you at DEFCON next year. This is Section 31, signing off.